not just MAGA. I'm Gothic MAGA.
From mountain to mountain, from ocean to ocean, hear these words. You will never be ignored again. And yes, together, we will make America great again.
Trump's house, brother.
I will always give you my love. America is a nation of believers, dreamers, and strivers. We will bring back our jobs. We will bring back our borders. We will bring back our wealth. And we will bring back our dreams. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America. We're gonna win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're gonna win more.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the ASTROLABE. It is going to be a quick one tonight. Going to be giving you guys a quickie. And I actually mean that because I've got a hard out. I am going to be joining Mr. Jason Miranchuk over on Miranchuk Now for Meet the Blessed. I will be on a panel with Cleaved Antiquity and Ben Luigi. We will be talking about redeeming the Ortho Bros. This is one of Jason's new panel shows. Very good one. Meet the Blessed. It's like Meet the Press, but blessed. It is targeted. It's an Orthodox show, but it's not for Orthodox people only. So if you are not Orthodox, you are more than welcome to come listen. In fact, we encourage you to. And it's not that I didn't set my clocks back. We haven't set the clocks back downstairs, and that actually maybe contributed a little bit to my time dysphoria here. No, you do not have to pay to see that show. It'll be streamed on Jason's normal channels. I did not expect so originally it was supposed to be at, let me think here. It was supposed to be at 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock my time. But then one of the guys had something come up, had to push it back an hour. And so in my brain, I saw 10 o'clock when Jason tweeted it out. I'm like, okay, 10 o'clock. But then the time has changed, so I need to adjust for an hour. So actually, somehow I landed on 10 o'clock Central. And so I'm like, okay, I've got time to do about a 2-hour lab, and so I set up content appropriately for that. And then I was out grabbing my my usual pre-show cigarette, and it occurred to me, hold on a second, 10 o'clock Eastern is 9 o'clock my time. Oh boy, I've only got about an hour, so I need to get back in here and get things started. And so I pulled a few things out and threw them into tomorrow's show. And that's actually good because I was going to build on some of the stuff I planned on talking about today, tomorrow. So I pushed some stuff into tomorrow, and we'll see how much of this we get through today. But the Jew wars are taking off on the timeline. The right-wing coalition is beginning to reveal itself as a coalition, let's say, and people are beginning to factionalize off, which was very expected. You guys should have expected something like this was coming, and I have actually predicted something of this sort. There's a few different ways that it can go, and yeah. Anyways, the stream die. Please don't tell me the stream died. I swear, if we have technical issues here, I'm just nuking this stream from orbit, and I will see you guys tomorrow. World War Jew. Okay, good. We're here. Yes. So, anyways, gotta get into the show and get to the meat of it. And I don't even know what I'm going to do with myself with only a 1 hour stream. But when I finish up here, it'll probably be about a 15-minute gap or so. I'm going to jump over on Jason's channel. And so go over to Miranchuk now on YouTube or on Kick, and make sure you guys are there for that. It'll be a great stream. And then I'll be back tomorrow with another show. I actually was really, I could have done a show a lot earlier than I did today, but I just wasn't feeling it. I'm like, I don't have, like, if I go and I sit down and I start streaming right now, I'm just going to be sitting here staring at the screen. And I'm not going to, there's just no thoughts in there. No, it's just empty. Just, just take the handkerchief and just kind of pull it through my ears. And so I don't know. Some of this stuff is so gay that it's hard to tolerate. So I need to draw some sort of interesting thing out of it. I guess I owe you guys another better stream at some point, because I could have streamed a lot longer today, but I just didn't have the content. I had some of the content, but didn't have my thoughts organized around it just yet. But do make sure you visit the Make More Ericssons Fund. The link is pinned in the Kick chat, and we're starting off with a new month, starting back at 0 again. And this should be a little bit better, although I'm going to miss some shows this month because next weekend, it's almost here. Next weekend, I'll be up in DC. And it's going to be a long weekend. It's going to be a Wednesday through Monday that I will be out. So I will miss the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and the Monday shows. I'm going to try to have something prepared to play during that time. But if you're anywhere in the greater DC area, please do hit me up either via email, realkingpilled@gmail.com, or tweet me, DM me at realkingpilled. DM me on the tweet machine, and I will add you to our group chat for a meetup. We're going to do a meetup November 14th in the evening there in DC. The specific location will be determined here shortly this week, and it will only be released to those of you who have let me know that you're interested in coming. And if if you're interested in going to a future one and you can't make this one, then also reach out to me because I will be in DC a few times next year, and I'll make sure I do a meetup each time I'm up there. I'm going to try to do some other states as well, but we'll have to figure out how to make that happen. A skull emoji. 50 kick points. 50 kicks. Thank you, Jeff Accordion. I don't know what this is. Is this this was a thing that someone sent a kick before, and it was there's some sort of monetary value to it. I don't know what it is. I don't know what the exchange rate is. I'll need to get Tom Luongo on that. 50 cents. Okay, that makes sense. So it's a kick a cent. So basically we have like the kick stablecoin here, except it's, yeah, I guess it's like kind of like it's like the kick stablecoin. Yeah. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. 50 kikes. Yeah. Anyways, All right, let's get this started. I do have one little fun clip here at the beginning. We've got a we've got a message sent to us from the big guy, Seth Dunn. How I go to Costco as a big guy. And from the sound of it, it seems as if maybe the Costco experience might be improving at the time, at the current time, given everything going on with Snap. But yeah, so let's find out. Let's learn some lessons on how to go to Costco as a big guy. If you're a small guy, you can still listen. It just may not work quite as well for you. Got to refresh.
Big guy. On the way there, I do breathing exercises to get ready for all of the fucking retards. And I get my screams out now. Get out of the way! Stop stopping! Oh, I guess we just chill right here in the middle of everything. Oh, yeah.
Literally
well,
me.
Your kid has autism. Clearly. Why are there so many Indians? Who let the riffraff in? Oh, you're recording me? Yeah, well, you're about to be recording your death. White power, white power, white power. Oh, so I'm a bad guy because I love Hitler. Well, I think you're a bad guy because you don't. Oh, shit, my windows have been down this whole time. That's kind of fucking hilarious. Penis, mud shark, can your kid stop staring at me? What, I look like I got candy, kid? You want to die? Oh, hey, ma'am, your hair smells really nice. Well, the first thing I do is I go and get a new card because my dumbass lost it. I'm going to lose my shit. I need to get a new ID, or membership card.
Did you use this?
Yes, I did. And I get myself a little snacky.
Always got to get a snacky. This is a big guy necessity.
Sitting is gay. I go piddle.
Piddling, very important.
Now
Stealing
look
an
at all of the
innocent person's
amazing
cart.
supplements and don't get a single thing. I get this only because it sounds like my nigga. Man, it'd be really nice to have somebody to buy
Manuka
flowers for. And of course, I get really angry at all of the fat people and people on scooters who don't need to be. Like that old fat fuck right there. Little known fact, but they actually harvest this from Native American girls with yeast infections. It's very disgusting, but entirely true. Italian is a stupid fucking language. Also, life hack, get Calrose rice. If you're not getting Calrose, you're a fucking pedestrian. Dubai chocolate isn't even fucking real. And I artificial sweetener max, because cancer's cool.
Hell
People
yeah.
will put you up on a pedestal, even though you've done nothing to deserve it. So that fat piece of shit in the mobility scooter actually ended up being pretty cool and giving me a challenge coin. Still fat. Funny is he actually stood up and walked over to me to do it. And he just was asking everybody if they were in the military. I can't really explain it, but I don't like him. And then he asked what church I went to and told me to check out his Baptist church. And at which point I Spartan kicked him out of his rascal scooter. Look at these fucking wheels, bro. They got the Sam's Club carts. This place is really going downhill. Also, you guys didn't catch this, but there was like 100 very attractive virgin women who just completely threw themselves at me in there. Soaking wet. Ready to go. It was really exhausting. Oh, and then I go home.
The trials of an alpha male.
How I go to Costco.
I cannot believe this guy still has an account. He's incredible. How many? What has this got? 22,000 likes in 4 days. How many followers does he have? That's fuck. Instagram is such a dick when it like. Ah! Let me see. Center. How many followers? $134,000. You know, for a long time, it was X that was kind of like the app where the base stuff happened. It seems as if that's very much not been the case for a while. Yeah, Theodore Dragonsbane said Instagram doesn't care. You can post anything in Reels. It almost makes me have to reconsider some opinions on Mark Zuckerberg, because I mean, you could say and post all the same stuff on X, and it'll get just as much traction there. But X is it's a very unique sort of an audience. The Instagram audience, though, you're not getting as many normies on X as you are on Instagram. This is going straight out to the normies. Just full send on main. This is a patriot right here. Very, very entertaining fellow. Shout out to Seth Dunn, the big guy. Super Speed Warrior with the $3 tip.
A problem with the Jews? No
Oh,
way.
his fucking voice.
Who would have guessed? We have to learn from our past and understand that we Jacobians must save the race wars for outside our group. We'll be much more efficient Jew wranglers if we work together. Time to answer the Q.
The Q, you say? Time to answer the Q? All right, boys, time to queue up. We got to answer the Q. Where's my Q Patriots at? Let me see you sound off in the chat. Yes. Okay. Let me just. I can't banter too much today because I want to make sure I get through all of this. So, first of all, an update on this Scott Adams story. You guys may have seen this over the weekend. I can't remember if I played this video on Friday. Did I? I can't remember if I played it where Scott Adams is talking about how he's not going to be able to draw pretty soon. He said this may be the last week that he's able to draw because his pinky and ring fingers have are basically paralyzed. They've gone numb. And yeah, sorry about the voice on the thing. I forgot to change it. Totally escaped my mind as soon as I finished the show on Friday, and I just opened up Streamlabs and got ready to go today, and forgot I needed to do a little updating. So we have to deal with the weird female voice, the weird Louise from Bob's Burgers voice for another episode. Okay, yeah, I did not play it. Yeah, he said that he's getting pretty close to not being able to draw his comics anymore because his ring and pinky fingers are going numb. They're basically paralyzed. And then he posted this last week on actually no, this was Sunday, yesterday. It was when he originally posted it. He said on Monday, I will ask President Trump via X to help save my life. He offered to help me if I needed it. I need it. As many of you know, I have metastasized prostate cancer. My healthcare provider, Kaiser of North Carolina, has approved my application to receive a newly FDA-approved drug called Pluvicto. But they have dropped the ball in scheduling the brief IV to administer it, and I can't seem to fix that. I'm declining fast. I will ask President Trump if he can get Kaiser of Northern California to respond and schedule it for Monday. This will give me a fighting chance to stick around on this planet a little bit longer. It's not a cure, but it does give good results to many people. Now, apparently, Scott has been on a hormone therapy. What I understand, I've gathered this. I don't know 100% absolutely for certain that this is true, but I've heard him mention this, and then I've heard other people talk about what it is specifically. So I'll just repeat it here with the appropriate qualifications. He's been on a hormone therapy that involves basically driving your body's available testosterone to zero. And apparently this has been pretty transformative for him in terms of managing pain. But it's not a cure. It's been a way of him basically bypassing getting strung out on opiates. And frankly, who am I? Who am I to question the choices that a man with terminal cancer makes about his treatment? But frankly, I don't know which would be better: getting strung out on opiates or driving your testosterone to basically zero. But anyway, so he's now. Seems like things are definitely getting worse. And what I'm interested in here is this. How do I say this? I don't want to. I don't want this to sound like I'm calling him insincere, because I'm not at all. I adore Scott Adams, and whatever the thing is that he's doing, I fully support him in it. But there's just been something that's niggling at the back of my mind about this whole thing. That he's announced that he has cancer, and he's been very public with all of this in a way that makes me feel like he's doing a thing. I don't know what that thing is, but there is a thing that's there, that's happening. He's working some sort of a social experiment, or he's driving some sort of a political angle or something like that. And I'm not saying this is because that he doesn't have cancer and he's pretending to. No, I do believe that he has cancer, but he's using it in some sort of a way. So I when I saw this tweet on Sunday, I was like, huh, that's very interesting. He's signaling that ahead of time he is going to ask Trump for help, and he has a direct line to Trump. He has Trump's phone number. He could ask him directly, and he mentioned, I'll show you in a video here in just a sec, that well, here, actually, I'll just play this video now, and then I'll continue my thoughts. He did get it obviously, the Trump administration came through, and he's going to explain how it happened in the video. But his update is that he's getting Pluvicto, the cancer drug, tomorrow. He posted this today. He's getting it tomorrow via Kaiser Northern California. The Trump administration works fast. Amazing. For context, I waited months for the drug like everyone else. But I think my files got misplaced or something, and that glitch just got corrected. Not sure. Elon's down here offering some potential alternatives if Pluvicto doesn't work. But here is Scott Adams our base Dilbert man, reporting what happened after because on Monday morning he said he's not going to be doing Coffee with Scott Adams. He was headed to the ER. Everyone was praying for him and keeping an eye on him. And so then he posted this today.
So some of you know the story that over the summer when the news came out that I was declining, President Trump called me home and blew my mind. But one of the things he offered was he said that if you need anything, let me know. But of course, you have to be careful about, does he really mean that? Does he really mean if you need anything, let me know? He's running the whole country and some would say part of the world. That doesn't seem like something a president could possibly do. So
what he's saying is basically Trump has told him, if you need anything, let me know. But he's also like, is this just a nicety, or is this does he mean it sincerely? And Kate says, I did find it a tad odd that he announced he was going to ask Trump for help when he already has his number. That's exactly what stood out to me. I'm like, huh. So he has his number. He even has the invite directly. You can reach out to me if you need anything. Scott knows he has dozens of people in his Rolodex that he could get he's one person removed from Trump. He could get him in any number of different ways, as it ended up working out. But he chose to post this out publicly. He chose to announce ahead of time. Now, you might say, well, he's just sort of insecure about it, and he kind of wants to make sure that if he just reaches out directly, maybe that won't be successful, and then it gets awkward to post. Like, if he reached out to Trump and he's like, hey, I can't get a hold of him, I'm just going to post publicly, that would reflect very, very poorly on Trump. So maybe he's doing this ahead of time. Just to, if Trump has already said, let me know if you need anything, then it doesn't hurt to just go publicly announce it and make this big viral story, because obviously it's going to be a big viral story. Scott is a smart guy. Scott knows exactly what he's doing. Scott is not dumb. Scott is also a guy who likes mind games, and he likes to play social games with people. And I don't say this again as a bad thing. It's one of my favorite things about Scott. He is a social scientist. So he's also one of the closest allies that the administration has had through thick and thin. He was one of the first prominent people who really normalized Trump as not just not a bad guy, but actually extremely effective and clever. I mean, if we haven't had Scott Adams over the last 10 years, I would say that Trump's, like right now, there's sort of the split of people where you have the people who say Trump's just this like bumbling, incompetent fool that just keeps getting lucky, and then you have the other side of people who are like, no, the dude legitimately, he's kind of got the drunken master sort of for politics. He's very good. That is, I don't know, there's probably something like a 50-50-ish split there. And I would say without Scott, it would probably be heavily in the Trump is an incompetent retard who doesn't know what he's doing camp. Which, if that was the case, the only way that Trump is going to win an election is if there's a substantial number of people who recognize that there is a method to the madness. They may not even understand it, but they just recognize that it's there. So you could make the case that Scott is one of the single most important people as far as the success of Trump or anything MAGA is concerned. One of the most influential, one of the most key figures there. He's also, I think, probably a pretty lonely guy. This is his life. He does his cartoon. I think he has friends, but I get the sense that he's kind of a lonely guy. Like he's reclusive, and this is what he lives through. He lives through the social network of his online friends and community and audience, and it doesn't have a ton of other stuff going on. I think he's perfectly happy that way. So these are kind of all the thoughts that I'm thinking as I'm trying to understand, like, what is the angle here? What's the angle with doing this publicly out in the open? And I'm just going to say right now, before I play the rest of this video, I don't know. I haven't come up with an answer here. I've thought through a bunch of different possibilities, but I just don't know. So I'm kind of curious to see what everybody else thinks.
But when things aren't working out and you got to try all the doors, I sort of reached the end of one rope, which was I wasn't sure I was getting any health care at all. I might have been. I still don't know. But what I don't know is if they'd even started the process to get me that potentially life-saving drug that I've been trying to get. And so I wrote a message saying that on Sunday, I wrote that I would be asking the president on Monday. Now, that would be today. But as you know, President Trump likes to do things ahead of schedule and better than you expected and ahead of schedule. But what is it? Below budget, ahead of schedule. And I don't know who he talked to first, but
my wife says social pressure on the insurance companies. That's probably at the top for me. I think social pressure on the insurance companies may be one of the biggest driving factors here. And if that's what he's doing for this, just trying to make Trump look good, that's kind of the other thing. Is he doing this is he basically chronicling and orchestrating his end of life for the purposes of boosting Trump's image? Is he, in a certain sense, making the ultimate sacrifice, kind of? Like, he's not killing himself, but he's dying of cancer, but he's capitalizing on this fact that he's dying of cancer to like instantiate his legacy by offering up these softballs for the Trump administration to just knock out of the park, to improve their own image, and perhaps even, like my wife says, social pressure on the insurance companies. Because this also just so happens to be happening at the moment that the government is shut down. And there's a lot of people who seem to think that the primary motivation behind the government being shut down from the Democrat perspective is the insurance companies leaning on them because they want a bailout. And if you recall back at the earlier part of this year after the big fire in California, Jason Miranchuk and I were looking at the condition of the insurance companies. And we were looking at their available assets and the potential damages from not just the Southern California fire, but the Southern California wildfire came right on the heels of the Helene natural disaster. Hurricane Helene on the East Coast. So we were like, these insurance companies are going to go bankrupt. And I think that may be one of the biggest driving factors behind the scenes from the Democrat side of things. They want the government shutdown. They're willing to accept the government shutdown because the insurance companies are trying to get a bailout because the Obamacare subsidies are coming to an end. And this $1.5 trillion or whatever that's going to be for this reason or that reason or the other thing, for them, they're like, whatever, we'll launder this money through illegal aliens if we need to so that we can get our bailout. We can get our books right. And the Trump administration's like, nope. You're going to eat this one. We're not bailing out the insurance companies. Han Pritchett says, a lot of noses in the insurance game. Yes. The insurance industry touches virtually every other important industry. Slosh says the 1907 stock market crash happened because of the 1906 San Francisco earthquake's insurance claims. Yeah. I think that this is what the government shutdown comes down to. And if that is the case, that breeds a number of very interesting thoughts. One of them is how fascinating that it doesn't seem as if any of the Republicans are cracking on this. That's what will, if the Republicans in Congress can stand their ground on this, then that is the linchpin of all of this, is Republicans in Congress standing their ground. If over the next couple of weeks, at some point, someone cracks, you're going to see some sort of a compromise deal. And if there are new funds that are appropriated, if the Democrats extract a win out of this, I can almost guarantee you'll be able to directly trace that to the insurance companies within one or two steps. This is why the Trump administration is hammering away that they want the nuclear option, the other N word, as our president said. They want the nuclear option. They want to end the filibuster. In other words, meaning that they could open the government again with a majority vote. They would just need 50-50. So they could even lose some Republicans on this. They would just need a 50-50 vote, and JD Vance as the tiebreaker. And then the filibuster is gone. No longer do you need the 60 vote threshold. We'll get into more of this on tomorrow's show. But yeah, please do the new. Yes, and this is what's really splitting the Republican Party potentially. So I'm trying to put these in order because I want to highlight this as like a really current, present, very immediate split in the different sides of the right wing. And then we'll get into some of the other things that are less, would you say, less pragmatic or less directly related to policy and more philosophical. But this is kind of the backdrop to all of this. That's what makes me wonder. I see there's a chain of thoughts here. I see there's all this going on with the shutdown and the wrangling in Congress and the nuclear option and what that entails for the rest of Trump's agenda. And then I see the connections with the insurance companies hailing back to a year or so ago when we expected that the insurance companies were going to start showing major signs of stress. And then Scott is doing this whole thing that directly relates to the insurance companies.
But I feel like a lot of things went in motion at the same time. So I was contacted by Don Jr., who was literally in Africa. He's in Africa on a Sunday, and Don Jr. is calling me and saying, "Leah, I'm on this. My father wants me to, get this done." Then Bobby Kennedy calls me. Bobby Kennedy calls me. He's like, "What can I do? What's the situation?" Dr. Oz calls me. Dr. Oz, what's the situation? How can I help? Oh my God. And then you may have seen that President Trump, best president ever.
Scott Adams' laugh on the soundboard. That is a really good call. I'm going to make that happen. Thank you, Zoomer Dylan. That's a really good call.
He posted my message to him that was on X yesterday. It was a public message. And he just said, "On it." On it. He was so on it. Oh my God, was he on it? Anyway, it turns out that nobody in senior management at Kaiser, my healthcare company, had a good weekend. They probably thought, "Oh, it's nice to have a Sunday off for a change." They probably work pretty hard. I imagine they work pretty hard. And suddenly their entire Sunday is absorbed by this. Oh, I feel bad about it, but good about it because it might have saved my life.
Okay, so, Theodore, you're getting to another thing I was thinking about. So here would be the longer range shot on this is... He says, maybe he's going to prove we actually do have the cure for cancer and gut the whole pharmaceutical industry. That would be another very interesting connection in here. So Trent Fear says Scott is demonstrating for the entire mega base the power of loyalty. There's another thing. So my question here is, I think it's very clear that there is a thing happening. They're doing a thing. And I don't know if this is something that Scott has coordinated with the administration ahead of time, and they're all... what do you call it? They're all sort of playing their part appropriately. Or if Scott is aware of what's going on right now, and he is, like I said before, lobbing them softballs, giving them the opportunity to step up and hit this out of the park. Now, obviously, apparently, what happened here is that that the Trump administration went and directly leaned on the insurance company and made sure that it happened. Made sure that that Scott actually got his treatment. So it'll be interesting to see where it follows on from here. Because this could tie in so many different things, whether it's some sort of treatment or cure for cancer, whether it's a bailout for the insurance companies, whether it's demonstrating the value of loyalty, giving Trump making him look magnanimous and gracious. Because like the flip side of this, the way that the left would attack this is, oh yeah, sure, of course the rich and famous person can get health care, but nobody else can. Well, Scott knows that. So if I accept the premise that Scott is working an angle here, what would be the natural follow-on from that? Well, it would be something along the lines of, yeah, like anybody should be able to get this sort of treatment. And so the reason that this sort of treatment isn't available to anyone is because of the malfeasance of the insurance companies. So I'm curious to see if there's a big, if there's a sort of a narrative buildup around this. And I would say even if it's not, you know, you take this a level back and say even Scott, make it really, really just simple and innocuous. Because Scott's just like, I need this to happen for me. And I feel like this is my own nuclear option. I just need to appeal to the president. And I don't want to reach out to him privately and not be able to get a hold of him because he's a really busy guy. And then be forced, feeling like the imminence of my own mortality. I don't want to be forced to have to do it publicly and say I couldn't get it done privately. You know, it could be as simple as Scott is just like has a moment of you know, vulnerability here and is like, please, Mr. President, please help me. But I don't think that's Scott. I don't think that's Scott. I think Scott is legitimately working an angle. And I just don't know what it is. So we'll see. There's what I was going to say is that even if he's just really innocently just doing this and he's not working an angle, he's just is trying to get the president's attention to get the treatment that he needs so he can stay alive a little longer. Even if that is the case, there would be nothing preventing it from being used in the same way. You know, the PSYOP can start at any point along the process. The PSYOP could be something that is explicitly, openly, or not openly, but it's explicitly, intentionally coordinated by the administration or people in the administration. Or it can be someone like at the influencer level, like Scott, offering them up an opportunity and engineering it in such a way that they'll capitalize on it and it'll serve the propaganda purposes. Or you could go another level down and you just get the people who coordinate around it and capitalize on it and make it a propaganda tool. Even if Scott didn't mean to do that, or even if the administration is not like actively cooperating in this, working a PSYOP. That's what it is, a psychological operation. Either way, we need more and better PSYOPs. And we can demand that the administration does PSYOPs for us, or we can demand that our great influencers do PSYOPs for us, or we could just do the meme magic thing and we can make the PSYOP happen ourselves. Speaking of PSYOPs, very interesting tweet was released yesterday from Israel War Room, the Israel War Room Twitter account. What did this tweet say? This tweet, hold on a sec. Got a tip. Ooh woo, Sparkle Queen. Ooh woo.
Oh God, it feels
no.
so good. I just need your knowledge, Daddy. Keep penetrating my consciousness with your enormous logic stick. Make a good Christian woman of me. I love you, Matt.
Oh, this is so bad.
So good. Keep me chaste and obedient, Ortho Papive. Woo.
Did not do the ortho poppy pronounced correctly. I'm so entirely uncomfortable. I'm gonna be changing that voice as soon as possible. My wife listens to this show, sir. You cannot be doing these things to me in public like that. Did I put the hold on? Let me make sure I can see what's happening now. Let me just double check something here. Did I get the horny stick emote in there? No, I didn't. I added it to the King Pill Discord, but I need to remember to add it to the kick emotes because I can already see it's needed in the chat. Don't change the voice. No. The voice must be changed. This cannot stand. Too much horny posting. This is a good Christian show. Anyways, a tweet from Israel War Room says, Charlie Kirk, founder of TPUSA, will be posthumously honored at Israel's 2025 Christian Media Summit in recognition of his courageous stand for truth and steadfast support of Israel. The Jerusalem Star Post reports. Or this is Jerusalem Post, Michael Starr. At Mrs. Erica Kirk, will accept the award on her husband's behalf a moving tribute to a man who inspired millions to stand with Israel when it mattered most. The Pillars of Jerusalem Award, inspired by the verse teaching that the world stands upon justice, truth, and peace, will also be presented to Douglas Murray, Yale Eckstein, and Dr. Jürgen Buehler. Now, when this was posted, a lot of people reacted. They were like, "What in the hell?" And these people, man, these people, the absolute audacity of these people. Andrew Colvett from TPUSA says, "This is the first we're hearing of this. We've reached out to the reporter at the Jerusalem Post for a correction." What in the absolute hell? Now, if you hadn't heard the story yet, I'm going to go back through and I'm going to read this tweet again. And this time when I read it, imagine that the person who is composing this tweet, the people who prepared this report, did not say anything to the people at TPUSA before they did this. Andrew Colvett in the replies down here confirmed. He said, I don't remember where it was. One of these replies, I'm not going to go through all of them. He said that their first alert that this was happening was when they saw this tweet. So I'm going to read it again. Charlie Kirk, founder of TPUSA, will be posthumously honored at Israel's 2025 Christian Media Summit in recognition of his courageous stand for truth and steadfast support of Israel. Mrs. Erica Kirk will accept the award on her husband's behalf. She will accept the award on her husband's behalf. These fucking people are trying to cyberbully a widowed woman into accepting an award for the sake of propaganda for their own nation. They're not just trying to capitalize on the man's death. They're blackmailing his widow into participating in it. Now, what else could we draw from this? What else might we derive, considering these facts? Why would they not just reach out to TPUSA directly? Why would they not say, "Hey, we would like to offer him this award, and we would like you to accept it, Mrs. Kirk"? Wouldn't that be the normal way you would go about this? "Hey, Mrs. Kirk, we have this great award. This is a great honor for your husband. A great and esteemed honor. We really want to celebrate his legacy, and we would like to honor you." If that was your intention, that's how you would go about it, right? So why wouldn't you do it that way? Well, I suppose it could be just a simple lack of social grace. Like just a complete incapacity to act like normal human beings. That's a possibility. I'm not going to say that that's not what it is. But this isn't like a lack of social grace. This is egregious autism. You're talking about egregious autism at the institutional level with, I don't know, dozens and dozens of people in positions of leadership signing off on it. Yeah, they're not known for their social grace, to be fair. However, you also have to be able to at least LARP it. This is the world that we're living in, their world. This is the way that these sorts of diplomatic, bureaucratic diplomacy, all this sort of thing, this whole world we live in. They played a major role in constructing it because it's the world that they live in themselves. I think, and I have no proof for this apart from just not being willing to accept that the number of people required to be implicated in this, that they just, I don't know, they just totally like spurged out and were like, "Oh, we'll just do it this way and she won't care." No. I think they didn't reach out to TPUSA first because they knew they would be turned down. They knew it would be rejected. Now, if TPUSA decides to accept it, that might incline me away a little bit from my conclusion here.
I can't take your pillar of Jerusalem. Please, please, please pray for my sinful soul and fill me with the warm light of God. It won't take you 6 days to create life with me, but you will need a day of rest. I can LARP social graces for you. Heil Hitler.
My wife's gonna stop listening to the show if I don't change this voice. It's gonna have to she's not gonna listen anymore, guys. You guys don't know Amy. You cannot imagine the sheer the sheer chills that are going up and down her. The way she is cringing. She is actively vomiting downstairs right now when she hears this. Bonk sticks! Bonk sticks need to come out again. Is very clever name. Very clever name. What was the account? Was Israel War Room. The name on that last chat was Is Not Real Horror Room. Oh, federal bonk investigators, go, go, go. The new voice rips, please keep. Oh, we're gonna split the Astrolabe chat over this voice. Hans says I feel uncomfortable, but I kind of like it. Okay. I need to focus. I've got a limited amount of time left here before I got to get wrapped up. So let me focus. Let me hold on. I got to move over this screen. Let's go to this screen. There. You guys get a preview of what's coming next. My unit is doing a Roman. Get you a woman that makes your unit do a Roman. Scottish voice. I wanted a Scottish voice. They don't have a Scottish voice. There's a limited number of voices available for it, and none of them are really all that great. Majority of them don't speak English. So I might just wind up with just sort of a generic. I was trying to look for one that we could kind of do a bit with, and so I settled on an American dude, just a generic American dude, because I was like, okay, there's no bits to be had here, and apparently I landed on one. I don't know why Justin's voice sounds like this. Anyways, back to TPUSA. I suspect that TPUSA would not have accepted this offer. Now, if they do, it's possible that means I'm wrong. It's also possible that they did the calculus here and decided that, whatever, go down, grit your teeth, accept the award, and just power through it and, recall how you were treated for future reference. I don't think we'll ever necessarily know. But, woo, this is starting to get really close to a diplomatic kerfuffle, like an actual legitimate between two nations sort of diplomatic kerfuffle. Because Erica Kirk, you know how beloved Erica Kirk is to the Trump administration, to the core inner members of the Trump administration. So if it's true that what was the outlet, the Jerusalem Post, was that the Jerusalem Post. If it's true that the Jerusalem Post did do that as to send a message, then oof. I'll be very curious to see how the administration responds going forward, because the Israel fatigue is developing within the administration. At the same time that we're getting a bubbling over on the timeline. Speaking of that, Aesthetica here says, no one's really talking about it, but there's a huge rift growing between the youth right and the boomer right. Young people on the right have a revolutionary energy. They want a hard shift to the right, especially on immigration, don't want foreign wars, want no more funding to Israel, want an end to H-1B, want a solution to the fact that they can't get jobs despite doing all the right things. Now, on this, I would say, I think it is easy, I like Aesthetica, I think it is easy to be too much online and think that this is something that applies to more young people on the right uh, than is actual reality. It's impossible for the human mind to model, a population of 350 million or whatever is in the country. I've heard estimates as high as 450 million, based on like traffic, like wear and tear on roads and other sorts of metrics you can kind of use to proxy it. 450 million, whatever. Anything over, I mean, you guys have heard of Dunbar's number. Like the human mind is basically only capable of really holding something like 150 mind or faces. So people have speculated from this that 150 is about the ideal social arrangement, which is something like a large extended family. Interestingly enough, and I think I think it's maybe more like 150 different distinct profiles. And once you get over the 150, then you are you're starting to stereotype. This is why stereotyping becomes a thing. Once you get beyond that 150, then your mind is literally doesn't have the bandwidth to manage and track more than that. So you actually just start categorizing people under headings of this type of person. And I'm sure if you sat down, you could probably pretty easily come up with about 150 different, it might be 125, might be 175, 200, whatever, but it's somewhere in that number of distinct stereotypes of this particular type of guy. Dunberg's number, however, is 109. How does he do it? We need a slutty milk emote for every time. Maybe the Roman is the slutty milk emote every time he does it. So I think that it's easy to look at the sort of energy on X and miss out on the sheer number of people who are not involved, not weighing in, not active, not being considered because they're not on X, or they're on X but they don't interact or engage at all. They're kind of an unknown quantity. I think so. I think it is true that this is the trend among young people on the right, but I think we still have a ways to go. Now, of course, you don't need every young person on the right. You don't even need a majority of young people on the right. You just need a sufficient number. And are we at that number? Which might be something like probably around 12 or 13% of the so-called young people who have been fully activated in this sense. I think we might be starting to get close, but you could start, you could parse down into that. The further you go, the higher the resolution you get, and you're going to find all sorts of different divergent people. Because part of the problem with the so-called right is it has there's something innate about it that it has a very difficult time cooperating, collectivizing. We're very bad at it. Yeah, Tikon, it's easy to forget that normies are like 90%. Right. So you can have a really, really activated 0.5% of the population, but if that 0.5% of the population is not united and coalesced and focused and consistent, then it's easy to start thinking that your the group, the social circle that you run in, it's easy to overestimate just how many people outside that are in alignment there. But I think that we're definitely closer than we used to be. And over the next couple of years, I think this is going to continue happening. But I don't know that the shift is going to be to the right, per se. I think the right-left distinction is losing its utility because it's starting to mean too many things to too many people. And you can drill down and have all the arguments about definitions that you want, but the mere fact that you might argue with that statement is evidence of its truth, I think. So I don't know that the shift is necessarily going to be to the right per se, but it's going to be toward a number of policies that happen to be favorable to people who would consider themselves on the right, but it's also going to be toward a number of policies that may not be. Like student loan forgiveness, or some sort of a universal health care sort of thing. Like, these are a lot of things that young people are going to be very favorable to. And those are not necessarily, you can make a right-wing case for them, and I think that's what we need to be doing. Meanwhile, the boomer right want to maintain the status quo, care a lot about the stock market, don't want to lose their cheap labor, want to keep their home prices high, and want to keep sending money to Israel. The sending money to Israel thing is honestly, on a political level, I understand why people are getting really agitated about this. Like the surface level game, yeah, it's really, really agitating. But zoom out and see the larger game and recognize that there is no future in this. It is dying. There is widespread social agreement across the basically millennials and younger, maybe even a substantial portion of Gen X and younger, whether they're left, right, or otherwise, who do not want to keep sending money to Israel. The demographic issue is real, and many of these problems are going to kind of solve themselves. These things are so diametrically opposed to each other that eventually something will give. Maybe it doesn't really happen until 2028, but it's coming, and I agree with that. And when I say that these things are going to solve themselves, this isn't me saying you don't need to worry about it and stop talking about it. I'm saying you don't need to be hysterical about it, and you don't need to be you don't need to lose your shit about it. Recognize the inevitable march in that direction and start coherently contributing to that. Then he quote tweeted himself and he said that was something he posted back in July. He quote tweeted this and said, "I warned people about what you're seeing right now. I didn't expect the boomer right to start this war so soon. Doing this right at the beginning of the second Trump term will harm Trump unnecessarily, but these people don't care about the success of MAGA. They care about taking the government over when Trump is gone and returning us back to 2012 Paul Ryan, Mike Pence neocon conservatism. Don't make the mistake of thinking this is about Nick Fuentes. It's the opening shots of the war between the old geriatric neocon boomer right, which Trump defeated, and the ascendant new right, which Trump represents. It's also an attack on Vance, Tucker, Miller, and anyone who represents the future of the party." What's very interesting about this is that, yes, it is an attack on Vance. And of all of these people, Vance is, I mean, you can make a case for why Vance, Tucker, and Miller individually are irreplaceably important. And I'm sympathetic to those arguments. But obviously, Vance, as the potential president, is probably the most important in a really substantial way. And this battle that's really breaking out now between let's call it the Nick Fuentes right and the boomer right. I don't necessarily know if that's the greatest terminology, because on one hand, you're just inviting a whole bunch of people to well, maybe that's actually a good thing. You're inviting a bunch of people to say, "Oh, but I'm not a boomer." "Oh, but Ben Shapiro's not a boomer." And he was born in 1983 or whatever he was born. But maybe that's good because you're getting people to identify themselves as not worthy of engaging. You don't have the internet smarts or the mental acuity to recognize the thing here, that you don't have to be a boomer to be a boomer. And this is very boomer. The boomer right is very boomer. So, I'm coming around on it. He says cancel campaigns are just a war for power. It's silencing your enemies. They're using Fuentes as the Alex Jones figure. Go after the most radical figure who has a lot of enemies and less people will complain. But these people are stupid and can't help themselves, so now it's Tucker too. Soon it will be Vance and every other prominent member of the ascendant right. They overplayed their hand. I think this is exactly correct. I think it's exactly correct that this is what's happening. I actually tweeted this out earlier today that they intentionally memed Trump into office. And some people thought I meant unintentionally. No, they intentionally memed Trump. The Clinton campaign did. They intentionally said, push him. Make him a thing. Because we think he'll be the easiest to knock down. He'll be the easiest to overcome. They intentionally promoted him, thinking he was the most off the reservation, out to lunch, not a serious contender. He'd be the easiest one to beat. And then what happened? Well, he became what he is today. And I think the same thing is now happening with Nick Fuentes. They're doing the same thing. And I smelled something like this coming, which is why I started paying more attention to him and starting to smell out a turn coming. Little did I know that it was going to happen in the way that it did, but this This is why I'm starting to move in this direction, that you need to set aside your issues with Fuentes personally. I'm not saying you need to forget about them. Those issues are not going to they're not going to mean anything. These sorts of things are much bigger than that. They're going to drag out all the clips and all of the anything he's said or done in the past. You know, they're all trending around. That's not going to matter. It's not going to matter. The Nick Fuentes phenomenon has escaped orbit. Or it's escaped into orbit. You're not going to pull it back down now. The boomer right has decided this is their move to make. And obviously they want to do the Nick and then associate Tucker to him and then associate Vance to him, which is really ironic given the actual legitimate contempt that exists between Nick and Vance and between Tucker and Nick. I think there is legitimately still, I don't know if it's contempt anymore, but definitely between Tucker's audience and Nick's audience. There's a substantial portion of each that are going to be contemptuous toward the other. But in political terms, political coalition building terms, the move that they're trying to make is we're going to associate all of these people together. And we're going to use this as a wedge driving opportunity to pull them apart. And they have enough social purchase that they're going to be successful. They're actually going to successfully drive this wedge by dint of the fact that they are driving the wedge. The fact that they are driving the wedge means the wedge exists. And I predicted that there was going to be a split here and that we were going to see a revival of the sort of the Barry Weiss, National Review, DeSantis contingent. Oh, God.
Okay, boomer. Whatever you say, boomer. We're the radical youth. If you consider the idea that in its original context the left was simply outside the political order and critical of the king, the day of the pillow comes. Keep pumping me full of content.
Yes, Pillow Princess, I will. I will absolutely keep pumping you full of content. I got to wrap up here in just a sec here because I got to get over to Miranchuk, so I'm going to have to. I pulled some stuff out and I didn't pull out enough. Because I had this National Review editorial that Mark Levin tweeted out on October 30th, said it's called A Time for Choosing on Anti-Semitism with Nick Fuentes and Tucker Carlson there at the top. So I'll read through that on tomorrow's Lab. I think I'll be able to get a pretty early start on that, so keep an eye out for it. I've got most of the content for it already. But The Fuentes, Tucker, Vance coalition is being pushed together. In a similar way to the way that Trump has isolated and elevated Jasmine Crockett and AOC and said, here is your leadership. That you can validate the leadership of your opponents by who you choose to attack. So what the boomer right, which still does have substantial social and institutional purchase, what they've decided is that Tucker and Vance and Fuentes are the inheritors of Trump's mantle. This is not ideological. You don't even need to draw a line between, there doesn't even need to be coherent attachments or connections between the Trump policy stack and then the Vance, Fuentes, Carlson policy stack. I'm not saying there isn't, but I'm saying that these, you need to think a level above this. Recognize that they're beginning to make their move and they're amassing a coalition that they want to use to split the Republican Party in 2028. So on the political coalitional level, we are being given bedfellows. Whether you're on the Fuentes side and you don't like Vance, or whether you're on the Tucker side and you don't like Fuentes, or whether you're on the Vance side and you don't really like either one of them, you're being given a coalition. Enemy of my enemy is my friends. And if the right is going to hold together, it's going to hold together on those terms. I'm speaking on a political level. The actual practical organizational level. I'm not even getting into philosophy or policy or anything like that. I'm saying socially, sociopolitically, that is going to be the defining coalition moving into the midterms. And this is going to have a very radicalizing effect. What has happened every single time one of these, you get the rise up again of the neocons, the squishy Republicans, the boomer cons. Every time they rise up, they always wind up aligning themselves with the Democrat Party. That's going to become the constituency of the Democrat Party. The Democrats are themselves going to be split between the on the ground radicals and the, for lack of a better term, the National Review DeSantis types. This has been happening. This happened very clearly in the 2024, the lead up to the 2024 election, where you had people like Liz Cheney coming out and openly endorsing Kamala Harris. That's going to accelerate. So I have more thoughts on this I'll have to get into tomorrow, and I'll read this article. Also a video here from Patrick Casey, Restore to Order, the main issues for the American right are mass migration and race communism, not Israel. I would encourage Israel supporters and its critics, including Tucker Carlson, to keep this in mind. There's a kind of an interesting thing that he's doing here, and I'll get more into that. For now, I'm going to log off here, and I'm going to head over to to Mr. Jason Miranchuk's channel for Meet the Blessed. It's like Meet the Press, but Blessed. I'll be joining him and the esteemed Cleve de Antiquity and Ben Luigi, otherwise known as Orthodox Luigi, changed his name just recently. Maybe going over there, and we'll be talking about redeeming the Ortho Bros. And I'll be back here tomorrow for another episode of the Astrolabe. Please do support the show. Tips.kingpill.com. I'll play your tips tomorrow on tomorrow's stream, and the voice will be different. I promise you that. And go join the King Pill Discord, kingpill.com. There's also Venmo, Cash App, the King Pilled on Venmo and Cash App, and Buy Me a Coffee. You guys pay my bills, so thank you for doing that thus far, and I will catch you guys tomorrow, another episode of the Astrolabe. Until then, I leave you with Hulk.
When they took a shot at my hero, and they tried to kill the next President of the United States, enough was enough, and I said,